I'm Ken.
And I'm Scott.
Welcome to the War Room.
Today we're going to be talking about the Nikon P223 3x9x40 precision scope for your AR-15.
It's a price point scope, and there's quite a bit of scope here for the price, so let's dive into the details.
First off, we start out with a 3.6 inch eye relief.
And they're not joking with that. You might be able to stretch out to about 4 inches, but you get off that, or you get this tunnel vision. Looks like you're trying to shoot down a hallway.
It makes a huge difference. It's one of those things you want to really look at when you're looking to purchase a scope. Mm-hmm. Check out that eye relief.
Yeah, and also to make sure that you're not getting that fisheye around the outside edges of being out of focus. This doesn't have that really. So
yeah, this scope is has a fixed parallax setting at 100 yards.
Set it at 100 and forget it.
Set it and forget it. The max adjustment on this is 80 MOA.
80 what?
80 MOA. Now everybody's like, well,
why would you want so much?
80 MOA. Why would you do that? Well, if you're going to mount this on something other than an AR-15, or if your AR-15's got a little bit of wiggle room in it and it's not exactly aligned with it, you're going to have the ability to adjust for that, but not be at the end of its range, so that you're pulling real tight into that spring on that side or the other side. You'll be able to recalibrate, bring it to zero, and then you can still have your movement either way.
Yeah.
This is going to make getting on target a lot easier and zeroing the scope in, and still having that adjustability down the line.
Yeah, let me bring that in so you guys can see that. 1 click equals a quarter MOA at 100 yards using 223 at 32 feet per second polymer tip. And there's adjustments for that later, but we'll get into that in a little bit.
So I'm going to let you hear the audible sounds that it makes for each one MOA click.
Very crisp, very clean.
And so now when you're setting it up, so you finally get it dialed in, you can bring this back up and lower it back down, and now you're locked in at your 0 point.
Yeah. It doesn't have a zero stop, but this is the next best thing. That's stuff you find on more expensive scopes.
Much higher price point scopes are going to have a zero set point.
Tell me about the field of view.
Field of view. With your scope dialed all the way down, which is on this scope, it happens to be at a number 3, which is your 3x9.
3 times magnification.
You are actually going to have a visible area of 33.8 feet, which is a pretty good sized area.
Yep, and at your maximum zoom of 9 times, you'll be at 11.3 feet.
And that's all at 100 yards.
Brings it in, the more magnification you have.
Yep.
Now the lenses are fully multi-coated. It's nitrogen filled, rubber sealed. It will not fog up unless you breathe on it and
when it's
moist
really
out,
freaking cold outside. Then try getting that shit off of there. It'll fog.
Every scope's going to do that.
Yeah, they do.
Let's talk about zeroing this thing in. It's got the 600 BDC reticle. That means it's bullet drop compensation. So, to zero this thing, we're going to set it to maximum magnification, and we're zeroing for 100 yards. It's with that BDC, it's set up for 55 grain polymer tip traveling at 3,250 feet per second. So once we get zeroed in there, we'll be able to use the reticle to its calculations.
A little description of that reticle is basically your crosshairs. On your vertical line from below the horizon, you will have circles and hash marks. Each circle represents 100 yards, hash marks are 50. So instead of having to move your dial, you can basically just raise and acquire your target in that circle or that hash mark.
And it follows pretty true.
Yeah.
If you don't have the polymer tipped, whatever you have, Nikon's got a really cool app called the Spot On app. And from there, I mean, there's a litany of rounds you can choose. It's already got their ballistic data in there, and it'll actually show you where to set it up and where to aim.
But one thing that makes it really nice is that even if you had this set up for a 300 blackout,
or a 308,
that scope will handle it. Right in the instructions, they say it's capable of handling the 308, but you have to get your ballistics on their website.
Which is really cool, because sometimes in the lower price point scopes, when they say it's designed for a certain round, that's it. It can't take the recoil from a heavier round and last very long.
Now, I can personally attest that we've beat this scope up pretty good.
Yeah, it's been bounced around.
Been bounced around in and out of the case, off the table, and it has held true.
Yeah.
It got tossed around pretty good in the old war room for probably a month between field trips
to the range, and you know, it's worked good in the cold, the heat. It's been, you know, damn near 100 degrees when we were shooting the one day, and 10 degrees shooting the other day, and it didn't really affect it at all. Everything was pretty spot on. So let's actually show you what the reticle looks like.
See if we can get you a close-up.
Here's the view of the reticle. As you can see, the circles and the dots, and we'll actually show you that on the board just so you get a better idea.
Really us looking through there.
Yep, that's not a fake. Alright, the good doctor has drawn this picture so you can see it a little bit easier.
Because I can't get my finger inside the scope to point this all out to you. You can see that your first circle will be your 200-yard mark, and then the hash marks will be your 50-yard increments. Each circle represents 100 yards. So basically, it's just point and shoot, as long as you know your distance.
Alright, so let's show you the really cool app that Nikon has to use with the scope. Pull out the phone, it's downloaded, and you can get it from the Google Play Store, or if you use one of those Apple thingies, you can go there and get it. Alright, we're going to go ahead and open our app, and we're going to select our scope. Obviously we're using the P223 3x9. Then let's pick a caliber. We are going with the 223 Remington. And our manufacturer for this one, as you can see, I fly through it, Hornady. And we're going to go with a 60 grain VMAX. And we're going to say that it's 3100. Apply our changes. So what's nice about that is it'll allow you to do your hand loads. And here we go, we're going to fire it. Let's see what they come up with. Now it's going to tell you we were zeroed at 100 yards and we're going for 300 yards. So with this load, you can see from the hash marks that now our 300 has moved. Instead of being the third circle, we are about the hash, you know, just a little bit above the hash mark but below the second circle at 9 times magnification. Now if we drop it down, which we can move our magnification here, you will see that now our 300 is actually the first notch, the first circle. So the software is really cool. They also give you the ballistic tables. The other thing you can do is, it's hard to see here, is you can put in your atmospheric conditions. And I mean, for a free app, Nikon did a great job because they give you a lot of different info, a lot of different things you can set, and gives you some really good data.
What it does is just makes another necessity for you to have your phone in the field with you.
Yep. Here's they give you an even closer look. So there's a lot you can do there. That's just a little bit of how the app works. Really hard to film on the phone, but you guys get the drift.
I like the app because the app gives you that opportunity if you're buying some cheap ammo, buying top-end ammo, if you're loading your own. And hand loading, we do a lot of the hand loading. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things that really helped us get this scope zeroed in originally. Mm-hmm. That in a sight-light laser. But
we'll do a video on that later.
You get the idea. You know, to get on target immediately at 100 yards is not that easy a thing to do. We did it in less than 10 shots. So it's not that bad if you've got the tools to do it.
Yep, I'm going to roll in some footage while we're talking here of us shooting it. Let's go into likes and dislikes. What do you like?
I like it. As far as a functionality thing, am I going to be bringing 600-yard shots out there? I'm probably not with this setup.
Not with the 223 anyway. You can, but...
You can, and I know people have proven it with this scope. I think it's more than capable of that, but you know, what you're
exceeding the limit. I mean, it's great up to 400, I'd say.
Yeah, 400 I think is
optimum 3.
Optimum. The proximity that you have to be on that scope with that 3.6 inches, you got to be there.
Yep, there's no denying that.
You got to be there. I originally set it up a little further away than that and fought with it a little bit and said, screw it, I got to bring it back. And we finally...
Reading the directions is a good thing.
That's why I say you got to look at that before you buy type of deal. But for the price point, for $200,
way better than the cheap scopes. So those are even more finicky.
Yeah.
So
I like
that's my only bitch. You know, if you're not perfectly on center, it's
I like to set it forget
effect
it idea. I truly appreciate that in the field, especially when you're walking a lot and you just acquiring those targets. It's just easier to do that. Once you get a feel for it, you'll become really comfortable with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say for its price point, you're looking at 200 or less for the scope. Does not come with the mounts. With this one, we opted for these are actually Nikon P series mounts, so they're the mounts designed for the scope. Not that you couldn't use. They have an M series, which is a single attachment point mount, which is really nice, or whatever mount you want to use. We just opted for these because you can find them $30 to $60. Came with these caps. Doesn't have the flip up ones. The M series does.
M series does. M series is a little higher price point. It's got some different features. It's got some better glass in it.
Not to say that this glass ain't good. I think in its price point, the clarity on this thing is phenomenal.
Yeah, I don't think you can beat it for $200.
Yeah, and the durability. I mean, we're not lying when we say this thing's been bounced around like crazy. It really has. And to hold zero, it's pretty impressive to me. I would not hesitate to buy this again. If you're looking for more of a budget-minded scope, I mean, Nikon, I think, hit it out of the ballpark with this and its price point.
Yeah, this one's not going anywhere. We're probably going to change the mount and probably zero coat the damn thing, but it's not going anywhere because...
No, normally, you know, we shoot something, we review it, and then send it on its way and let somebody else. But, no, this one's staying here.
This one's down and dirty, and you know what? It's just functional.
Yep.
I like it.
It doesn't look that bad either.
No, it'll look better zero coat, though.
Yeah, well, what doesn't?
Yeah.
Alright, guys, well, we hope you like this review. Check us out. We have plenty more on tap.
Oh, yeah.
Like and subscribe. That'd be awesome. And we're going to shift gears a little bit. We've been doing a lot of AR stuff lately. I think it's time to move into the old AKs. We're going to do some stuff with these coming up. We're definitely going to do something with that because that's about one of the ugliest AKs I've ever seen.
This thing is hideous, but again, a great budget buy.
What is old will be new again.
And it's got a brand new lower already installed, so we're going to have to do some upgrades to this thing and see what we can get out of it.
Stay tuned.